The last time we were talking about the parts of the plants, and this time around we would be talking about how plants grow. So, what do plants need to grow? We have five key things that we must know for every plant. Five key things that they need to grow. And they are air, sunlight, water, nutrients, and space. Now, these things are important. Remember in the last class we said plants are living things, and because they are living things, that is why we must care for them. So if we're going to care for them, then we need to know what they need in order to continue to grow and also to stay healthy. And these are the basic things that every plant needs: air, sunlight, water, nutrients, and space. Okay, you see, plants need air, and one of the reasons is because we said here plants need carbon dioxide from air humans breathe out, while humans take the oxygen, plants need carbon dioxide. So one of the things that helps plant grow is the what? The carbon dioxide that is found in air and many times because humans give out carbon dioxide as they breathe in and they breathe out. Really, as they breathe out, they give out carbon dioxide and plants take hold of that carbon dioxide in order for them to grow. So it's important for every plant that they must have enough of this carbon dioxide. I mean, it's just like a human being. So you need enough oxygen so that you would stay healthy. That's why you don't want to stay in a very stuffy place. Why it's gonna be difficult to breathe as time goes by. So it's the same thing for plants. You don't want plants to be in a place where you don't have air. You want them to be where you have air so they're able to grow well. So plants actually need air. So again, what else they need? So plants need water. They also need sunlight. Now, if we go back, we said plants need air, sunlight, water, nutrients, and space. So they also need sunlight. And that's because in the last video, we said plants are able to make food from leaves by the help of sunlight. So if there is no sunlight, there is no way these leaves can make food. So the way plants are going to get food is in the presence of sunlight. So you don't want to grow something in the dark. If you grow something in the dark, it won't properly grow well. So that's why you need the sunlight so the plants can grow just like it is on the screen. If not, the plants wouldn't really grow well. They'll just be malnourished, just like a child that you kept in the dark all these days. Yeah, he won't look pretty good outside because you need to go outside, you need to play, you need to see the sunlight as a child. The same thing with the plants too. They also need to see the sunlight. So the first thing we said, every plants need air. Why? Because they get carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, right? And also they need sunlight because through the help of sunlight, they're able to grow well. Now, they also need water. I mean, plants need water because if they don't have water, they cannot grow. Plants need water because the roots, remember when we look at the parts of the plants in the last video, we said the roots of the plants are the ones responsible for taking the water from the soil, and the stem is responsible for taking this water along with all other nutrients that is gotten from the soil to all other parts of the plants. So water is very important because you need water for the plants to grow. So the water travel from the roots all the way into the leaves, and coupled with the sunlight, then the leaves are able to make food. But if there is no water, the plants will grow poorly. And because it grew poorly, the plants could die. That's why, if you remember in your experiment that you probably had in school, or maybe when you just randomly try to plant something, the first thing you instinctively want to do is you want to get it some water. Why? Because it is very important for plants to take up water. Just like as a person you are, you try your best to drink to take water every single day. Why? Because if you don't take water, it could cause dehydration. So you could look pale, you could get sick, and you don't want that to happen. So it's the same thing when it comes to plants. You want them to take water so they can grow. So water becomes very, very important for plants to grow. So far we've mentioned air, we've mentioned sunlight, we've mentioned water, and also we have nutrients. Plants also need nutrients to grow. Now, if you look at this picture, it gives you in one picture everything your plant needs to grow. Every single thing they need to grow is in this picture. You have the sunlight. Sorry, let's okay. You have the sunlight, you have oxygen, you have carbon dioxide, you have water right here in the roots, and it says some things about the leaves, chloroplast, and glucose that gets from the sun, and all of that. But what our attention is are the nutrients that the plants need to grow. Now, you see this place, it says minerals, and those minerals are found inside the soil. So your plants need all these things to grow. So if your plant doesn't have a proper atmosphere of all these things, it wouldn't properly be able to grow well. So and that's why you need adequate sunlight. That's why you also need adequate water. That's also why you need adequate air, and also because you need air, so you need to put your plants in a very spacious environment. Why? So it's able to grow, it's able to take so much carbon dioxide so that it could grow well. So we said again, our plants need air, it needs sunlight, it needs water, it needs nutrients. And where do we find these nutrients? We find these nutrients in the soil. So just like the same way the leaves will make food from sunlight, so these nutrients sometimes could also serve as food also for the plant. So the same way as the human being, you need to take vegetables, vitamins, and all of that. So plants also need nutrients in order for them to grow. And what again do they need? They also need space. I said it before, you need your plants to be in a very proper and spacious environment. You don't want them to be in a small space. It's not going to grow properly. So you need that. That's why many times you take them out in the field, in the backyard. Why? Because there is enough space for them to grow there. So your plants need air, sunlight, water, nutrients, and space for it to grow properly. Now, when we talk about different kind of plants actually need different kind of things. But those are the basic things that the plants need. That's what we talked about earlier when we talked about water, sunlight, nutrients, space, and water, sunlight, nutrients, and space, and air, like we mentioned earlier. Now, all these things are important, but it's also very important to know what individual plants want. For instance, you could have a sibling that doesn't like a particular kind of food, right? But food is really important for all children in the house because you have to take food to grow. But then you now have to become more specific by the way. Why? Because Some people don't like some kind of food, some people like some kind of food, and you now have to use that to, to ensure everyone gets the food properly. So, different plants need different things. So, for instance, if you are growing a cactus plant, because a cactus plant needs hot weather to grow, while some other plants might not need a very hot weather to grow, and they also need little water. Some other plants will need a lot of water. So, for instance, a cactus will not need a lot of water. It's just gonna need little water, and it's also gonna need a hot weather. Now, you could have some other plants like those ones in the rainforest, just like it is here on the screen. Because of they're in the rainforest, they are common to need a lot of water. They want a lot of water. So, unlike the ones in the desert, for instance, the cactus, it doesn't need so much water. It doesn't also need the cold weather. Why? There's some other plants that will survive in the cold weather, but a cactus might not survive in the cold weather. So different plants will really have the different things that they want. Now, it's if you come down now, you have like a tomato plant here. It doesn't need so much water. You just need regular watering, just like the way you would water beans plants. So that tells you different plants will need different things, and that's why we have to know how to care for every plant because different plants will need different things. Just like different children have different needs, right? I mean, different set of children have different set of needs. So different set of plants also have different set of needs. But there are needs that are basic that every plant would need. But they might just not need them in the same quantity. Just like I said earlier, your cactus needs water, right? It also needs good weather, but it would prefer a hotter weather to a colder one, and it will prefer little water to, you know, more water. The same thing with the plants that we said are in the rainforest. What would they need? They will need a lot of water. But when you come down to a tomato plant, it just needs regular water. You just have to put water on a regular basis, and not like the other ones that they might need little water, or the other ones that might need so much water. But at the end of the day, they all need the basic things. They need sunlight, they need carbon dioxide, they need water, and all those things that we mentioned. So there are things that are basic. Then when we come to the different plants, there are things that are now specific. So now, we were talking about water the other time, and we said when you take water, when you water the plants, what happens? The roots absorbs the water and takes them all the way to the leaves. And so what we were talking about earlier, this is like a diagram that explains that. So the roots first of all take up the water from the soil and it carries it. It goes all the way into the leaves and we see all of that. It becomes your beautiful plant. So that will be all for this video. I will see you on the next video.